Yep, we're good.
Yep, we're good.
Okay. So, good morning. Welcome back, or welcome to our second part of our webinar series talking about digital marketing and how we can better your small business in general. If you joined us last time, we covered creating a marketing plan and social media marketing. Today, we're going to be talking about intro to website and search engine optimization. We're joined today by Susu Wong from Tomo 360. She'll be giving this presentation. And this is, I know we have people from all over, so thank you for joining us. But I just want to acknowledge that this is part of a grant program for Wakefield, Massachusetts businesses for up to $2,000 if they attended both of these webinars to implement some digital marketing practices. As we all know, how people have shopped and dined has changed drastically over the last year, and I think some of this is here to stay. So just a quick run through. This is me, Erin Gokinda from the town of Wakefield. I'm the Community and Economic Development Director. I just started back in November. So thank you to everyone from the community that has been so welcoming. I really appreciate it. I think I slid to the next slide. Oh, I'm back. So yeah, we have Susu Wong from Tomo 360. She'll be talking about intro to website and search engine optimization. And we'll hopefully have some questions, time for questions at the end. Some quick housekeeping. If you could please keep your cameras off and muted during the presentation to avoid distractions, we'd really appreciate it. We do welcome you to turn your cameras back on during the question and answer portion. Feel free during this as well. I'll be kind of monitoring the chat box if you want to throw in some questions that you're thinking of during the time. I can write them down and at the end ask Susu as well if you're not comfortable. Like I said, you can ask your question in the chat. This event is being recorded, so everyone knows, so that might make you want to turn your camera off as well. We will be sending it to everyone after the event, and it should be on the Town of Wakefield website for future reference. And we would love if everyone could rename themselves to include your first, last, and your business name, just so we know where everyone's coming from. And also, if you put in your chat in the chat box, so I can mark down who's here from the Town of Wakefield, your name and the business. That would be really awesome. And like I said last time, we're thrilled that you're here. We understand how important this is for your community or community business right now. So I really appreciate it. And one last thing, this is just really the Wakefield-based businesses. You had to attend both these webinars to apply for the $2,000 grant fund to implement digital marketing practices. I really would love for you guys to, after this webinar, to check out the criteria to be eligible for this program. I would hate for you to apply and you're not eligible. So please check that out. That's on our website here, Wakefield MA Digital Marketing. And the applications are due a week from now. And on top of the application that you'll find on the website, which I'll put in a link at the end, you will also need to do your marketing one-page canvas. So I will send a link for that as well to follow up. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here, stop sharing my screen, and hand it over to Susu. So thank you, everyone.
Hey, good morning. Thank you, Erin. And thank you for hosting this webinar. This is the second webinar. I'm just going to present this now. Can you see the screen? Okay, great. So this webinar is going to be on website and search engine optimization. And this is our team, in case this is the first time you're here. So we're based in Lowell, Mass, and we have a team of marketing, technology, and business experts to help businesses, nonprofits, and the community governments in the digital marketing. So we run a whole gamut from website design, social media, advertising, Google Ads, and so forth. So last webinar, we did the marketing plan, social media marketing. And so this webinar, we're going to talk about websites, some of the best practices. We're going to touch upon e-commerce, SEO, search engine optimization, Google My Business. And then if we have time, we'll go through email marketing and text marketing. And like Erin said, if you have any questions, just put it on the chat. We will ask questions at each segment, and we're gonna have some polls too, so that'll be fun. The goal is to help Wakefield businesses and other businesses to become familiar with what some of the online marketing other than social media. So there are a lot of things that we can use so then we can promote your business or your services. I showed this last webinar. Your online marketing strategy is not just about social media. It's all the different components such as your website, search engine optimization, email marketing, texting, and probably a lot of other tactics. So to be a business owner today, it's not just about selling or providing your services. You have to really look into your marketing and holistically. And what used to work may not work today, and especially during COVID, everything kind of like threw it out, and then you have to kind of pivot and figure out how you can tweak your marketing strategy. So we're going to go through website and mobile, one of my favorite topic. Why do you need a professional website, right? The answer is that social media doesn't replace your professional website, right? It's your virtual storefront, especially with COVID now. With people are not likely to come to your store. They may, but you need to have a strong website to really show what you do, what your products are, and your services. And having a website will allow people to search on Google, which is really important. Yeah, they may be able to search on your social media, but if you don't have a website, you're going to lose a lot of opportunities. And having a website for people to contact you and really control your branding. And I say that it's of all seriousness because if you don't have a website, somebody's going to come in, take your domain name, and they're going to advertise for other services. I've seen that happen. One of my favorite dumpling restaurant, they got totally held hostage by a third-party website. So they're showing all kinds of ads, and it really diminished their branding. So it's important to have that. So 10 must-haves on your website, right? So we're going to go through that, but obviously you have to have mobile compatibility, your contact information. If you're a restaurant, you want to have your online menu and takeout, and a way to do an ordering, e-commerce. Tell us about who you are yourself, what is your team, and having a secure website is going to help you, which means HTTPS versus just not just HTTP. Social media links so people don't have to search for you, and having a very simple navigation so then people will know what they're looking for. And then the last thing is, having a COVID message usually on the top, so then people can, see what you're doing, maybe changing your hours or how you respond to COVID, sanitation and so forth. And then another important thing is having this call to action on the top of your website, which we call the above the fold, is that like get a quote. So this is an insurance company, right? And then about us, like very prominent. And then this is ADA compliance, which I'll talk about in a little bit later. So we talk about simple navigation. This is a website that we designed for Newbury Town Library, right? It's easy to find. So we put like all the important information on the top, right? Quick links so people can find what they're looking for. A lot of times they'll be like, what are your hours? Can I get a library card? Join our newsletter. So we put like some of the call to actions on the top so people can like navigate easily. Having white space is good, not a lot of text. And so then it's also for usability. And button placements are very important. So like direct people where you want them to go. So in marketing, we call it the customer journey, right? Like, how do they come to your website? Where do you want to go? Where do they evaluate? And then finally, how do they buy? So map it out before you build the website. So if you're a restaurant, make sure you have an online menu. I can't tell you how frustrated I am when I have to look at a Facebook page for the PDF menu, right? I have to stretch it, you're on your phone, you're trying to call them, right? I mean, make it easy for people to find what they're looking for. is the key. Responsive design. So it's really mobile design, which means that your website can be responsive to laptop, desktop, tablets, and mobile devices, your phone. Just remember 90% of people probably hire on mobile all the time. In countries like Asia, they don't even use computers or desktop. They just totally rely on their phones and tablets. So make sure that if you have an older website, it's still, not responsive, you need to change that. So I have a poll. Let's see. Where other polls? So the poll is, all right, let me just stop sharing. So the poll is, do you have a website for your business? So the answer is yes or no. So if you can just put it on the chat. Okay, so 78%, actually 80%. Okay, almost 80% you say yes, 13% said no, and 10% are in development. So that's great. Anybody else? If you don't have a website today, you need to have one. So I'm gonna end that, and let's do that. All right, let's share my screen. All right, let's talk about online reviews. Right. Online reviews are just so important for small businesses, for really any business, but I think especially small business, local businesses, because 90% of people are going to go to Google a local business, right? That was last year. And 82% read an online reviews for local businesses. So just think about how you buy products, right? If you go to, let's just say Amazon, right? You're always looking for reviews. If they have anything that's less than 4 stars, you're going to look somewhere else, right? So those are so critical for your business. Half of the 18 to 54-year-olds say that they always read reviews, right? And then in average, it's like commercials, right? In average, a consumer will read 10 reviews before they trust the business. And then 53% of people would consider using a business that are less than 4 stars. They wouldn't consider using a business that has less than 4. So these are really important. So what are some of the online reviews? The first one is Google reviews. This is a really important, because when people search on the web, right, they're gonna find you, and then they're gonna see you have 4.5 stars, right? Hardware, in Wakefield business. So, they have great reviews, 73 of them, right? It builds your credibility. So when people are searching hardware store near me, they're gonna see the reviews, and it's gonna increase your search engine ranking. And then it's important to connect with your customers. So when they say, I love it, they give you a positive review, make sure you answer it. Or if they have negative reviews, which happens, we're not perfect, right? Make sure that you answer them. And it's a good way to kind of know where you stand in terms of your products, your services. And it's a good way to kind of know what's going on and how your customers are feeling about you. Yelp reviews. Yelp is it's one of the first number one review, and it's very powerful. I know a lot of merchants, have a hard time with Yelp because you have to pay to get some of those reviews. But it's been around for a long time. There's a lot of people in there, and if people send you a review, make sure that you answer them. I think that people will understand if you get a negative review. The important part is to answer and fix the problem. So I think that Yelp reviews it's really a great way to showcase all your reviews. So this is something you can do on your website, depending on the type of website you have, right? It's always good to include reviews, right? Testimonials on your site because it builds credibility. One way you can do on your website is to add Google reviews and Yelp reviews onto your site. So we do WordPress website. There are different programs, and we call it plugins, that you can integrate both these reviews onto your site. So then people don't have to search. Are there any questions, Erin? Anything on the chat box?
I do not see anything yet.
Okay, all right, okay. So I'm gonna go through some of the best practices. I mean, there are a lot of them out there, but these are some of the things that I think that will be really helpful to have a nice website that will be effective. Show and tell. So this is one of the website we built for a kitchen designer. So we show like a lot of their products, the cabinets and they're all professionally done. So then it looks really good, and it showcase her products. Chat box. So chat boxes are live chat boxes on your website. And they're really a great way for people to contact you without filling a form. So we implemented this. We use HubSpot, which is a free chat box, right? We implemented this in last summer, and now a lot of our leads are coming through our chat box. They don't really come through the form. I mean, in the form, we get a lot of spam email. So I think it's a really good way to get more leads that way. You can also use this as a customer service where, people, I'm sure you used that before, you have a problem, you get to chat box, right? Remember, I'm on Verizon, but I'm always on that chat box because it's hard to call them, right? So it makes it easy for people to interact with you. So I mentioned that HubSpot is free, and the other one is a live chat. It's not free, but you can integrate it with Zendesk, so then you can use it as a customer support, app. And it also frees up, your staff's time, instead of answering a lot of emails or, and, that's just another way for customers to interact with you. So we're not live all the time with the chat box. Like, I don't have to keep answering. Usually people just leave me an email, on the box, and then we respond. So we get an email and then we just respond back. ADA compliance. This is the American with Disability Act that was started into 1990. And it's a way for people who have disabilities to be able to, look at your website and understand, what it is, whether they're visually or impaired or they couldn't hear. So recently, last couple of years, there's been a ruling saying that all the businesses have to make sure that their websites are ADA compliant. And it's a good thing to do because there are over 50 million people with disabilities, and if you can make your website accessible, you can potentially also increase your business, right? People would like to come to your website because they don't know what you're talking about, and it's a way to really increase your reputation in the community. We've done a bunch of these. Some of the tactics are really like putting description on your images, putting links on the links on like website and stuff like that, so people will know that those are links instead of just a different color. So there's a whole slew of things that you can do on your website to make it ADA compliant. Blogs are a little underrated because they really provide so much value to you and your website, and a lot of people don't really understand why. We do a blog every month, And over time, we got a lot of content. So we probably have like, 100 blogs that we've been working on. The most important thing why you want to have a blog is to help you with your search engine ranking, with the keywords. So for example, I'm looking for something like print cartridge. I have problems with my printer, right? You're gonna look at you're gonna put in your keywords and look for the solutions. So if you write some of these content, the chances are it's gonna show up on the web, and when people search for it, they're gonna find your website. So it's a way to attract new customers, and and also retain some of your customers. And then with the blog, right, you can use it as a link to social media, to your e-blast. It's obviously on your on your website. So that, you may spend a few hours writing the content, but you can use that content in many places. And if you don't have time, I'm sure we don't have a lot of time, you can also use guest bloggers to do that. There are websites that will help you to put some of those blog contents. So that's another way to do that. So here's some examples. This is a boxing gym in Stoneham, and they do some fitness blogs. It's a wellness blog from Bodyworks, and you can talk a lot of different things in their blogs. And then the idea is that if somebody say, stress relief, what do I do to decrease stress during COVID? You're hoping that people will come to your site. Okay, are there any questions on the chat box, Erin?
Yes, they're kind of back to your original, back at the beginning, the reviews. I don't know if you want me to ask now or wait till the very end.
Yeah, we can wait to the end. How we doing the timing? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, let's share. Okay. All right. E-commerce. So if you are selling products, and if you don't have a website, don't have an e-commerce solution, I think that you're really missing an opportunity. Since COVID, the online sales have been up, and this is during the holiday season, it's been up 8.3%. And then in the last 2 years, the overall e-commerce sales have been gone up like 24%. The, and I think that it also helps, if you're selling locally, then you can really open up your website to the world, right? Like today, we have someone coming in from the Philippines, right? So just take advantage of what are the environment right now because of COVID. People are not, hesitant of coming to your store, and having that e-commerce is going to help you to expand your business. So the first thing I want to do is to do a keyword search, right? This is I'm just putting a printer cartridge, right? To find out, is there a demand for your products, right? Some of the products probably have more demand. I can see mask, anything relating to COVID has a bigger demand, right? So you want to go to Google Trends and see where we are. Printer cartridges, kind of ups and downs, but it doesn't have huge spikes, right? So to me, I think it's more like a commodity, is people are looking for better pricing or specialty. Compared to some of the other products. And the next thing you want to do is inventory management, right? Where are you going to store your inventory? Are you putting it in a warehouse, or are you do you have another place that you can store it? Are you storing it in your shop? And then managing your inventory by forecasting how many products you're gonna sell, keeping track of the inventory level, and then have a backup plan if you ran out of stock. I mean, like during COVID last year, even even Amazon was having a hard time keeping some of the stocks. As you know, the supermarket, right? Forecasting is important to have that. So before you're ready to sell, make sure that you got all your ducks in a row. Pricing, right? These are the green screen, that you can put behind Zoom, so then you can do all the virtual background. So you can see that there's just the pricing is all over the place from $12.99 to $45, right? So know what your competitors are doing, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you, right? So you need to fit like where you are in terms of pricing. So if you're pricing higher, like what are you providing, and make sure that you really show those features why your product deserves a higher price. So pricing is important. Having a good customer experience, right? It's nothing worse than like not knowing when your product is coming in, or you're out of stock. Make sure you communicate to them if there's shipping delays, and making sure that why they abandon the shopping cart, right? Now they're shopping and then all of a sudden they leave, and you want to know why, right? It could be a lot of reasons. It could be they can't find things, or maybe you're not offering free shipping, and it could be your website is too slow. So then they get tired of waiting, and so then kind of look through all your customer experience to make sure that it's seamless. Because a lot of us small businesses, we are competing with the large customer large companies, right? So we want to make sure that we have the customer experience like a large company. So, but I think a lot of people are willing, are happy to support local communities. So you just have to make sure that your experience matches. So operations wise, all right, make sure that you look at all your customers' touch points, right? How do they contact you? Are they calling you? They're going to email you. They're going to Facebook message you, right? They're going to chat box you. So make sure that you tie in all those customers' touch points, right? And make sure that you respond to them. Using a customer relationship management system like Salesforce or HubSpot, some of those will help you to kind of keep track of all your leads that are coming in or inquiries, so then you can reply back to them. If they have some questions about your product, right, they didn't buy, but then you can email them or send them information to follow up. So integrate all your customer support on your digital channels, where if they have any questions, that you can answer them quickly. And align your supply chain would be your inventory level, your shipping, make sure that everything is integrated seamlessly. um, you'll be surprised that even some of the larger companies who are not used to doing e-commerce have hiccups on these things. So if you can do well in this and really provide a good customer service, I think that it will be really helpful and make it successful. Here's another example. Kiko's Coffee, before COVID, was working with universities, farmers market, and then they found themselves, they have to pivot right away to selling coffee directly to their customers. So they have a Shopify e-commerce, and what we end up helping them was to give them a subscribe and save option. So then coffee, you need it every month, right? So you buy one, then you subscribe. It's kind of like the Chewy model, right? You can auto ship. So we did that, and we also put the reviews on the top, so then people can see it. It used to be kind of on the bottom. And then Kiko's also offer rewards after you bought X amount of coffee. So these are some of the things that you want to kind of help customers to not think about ordering, right? It's just auto ship. And then there's a chat with us right here, which is another good way to connect with the customers. And they've been very successful in like pivoting. Now they're selling iced coffee and tea. I think that offering free shipping option is a must if you can do it. A lot of times, you don't want to offer shipping for less than $10, right? So, but you want to encourage them to shop more. If you go over a certain amount, like $50, then you get shipping, get free shipping. Make the shipping cost obvious in the checkout, so you don't want to surprise your customers that it's going to cost so much money for shipping, and then obviously keeping them in the loop for when they're gonna get their products, and then have a good return policy, um, and that's another thing that they don't want to have to not be able to return if they buy something that don't fit, right? 28% of customers will abandon their shopping cart if free shipping is not available, and almost 100% of customers say that free shipping is one of the biggest factors when shopping online. So think about that, whether you can offer that. So here's some e-commerce vendors that prominent that a lot of people use. So WooCommerce is if you have a WordPress plugin, a WordPress website, WooCommerce is good. It's 100% customizable. It has you can use if you have a lot of inventory, this is what you can use. And the only thing about WooCommerce is it doesn't really give you a lot of customer support. And the other option is Shopify, which a lot of small businesses use. It's you can do a standalone Shopify or integrate with a WordPress website. They have really good customer support. The limitations are it's a little less, they don't have a lot of themes that you can choose from, but the back end is really easy to use and customize. They have like cart abandonment option, and then upsell discounts and so forth. Squarespace is a good way to use if you have not a lot of products. It's a way to start. And so if you have a Squarespace website, that's your e-commerce option. And big commerce are for like large companies with like a lot of inventories, a lot of products to sell. So those are the few. I know that people are also using Square now, and we haven't worked with them. But yeah, if you want to use e-commerce, these are some of the vendors that have very good reviews. Right. So let's talk about Google My Business. So what is Google My Business? So I'm sure that you've searched on Google. Let's say you want to search for a restaurant, right? And it's going to show up on the right-hand side with the maps and the contact information and everything. I'm sure you've seen it before. It's a free tool from Google, it's also a really good way, as we mentioned about Google reviews, right? But more than that, you can add like pictures, and you can add content. Like when we have blogs, we will add a blog in there. If you have FAQs, different content, you can also add that. And it also comes with Google Analytics. So if you don't have that, you have a website, you don't have Google Analytics, it will show you how many people come to your site and how long do they stay, where they're coming from, what operating systems they use, are they using mobile versus desktop. So it's a way to see what your site visitors are doing on your site. And most importantly, it improve your search engine ranking, because we all want to be searched. So local pack. So local pack is really good for local businesses, right? You get into the local pack if you have more than 5 Google reviews, if you add locations to your keywords, right? You're adding pictures and you update your website regularly. So I'm really psyched that I'm in the local pack. So, we're actually the second one, because the first one, Tribal Vision, is an ad. So just thinking about having this real estate on Google, it's going to help to bring your visibility. And the best thing is they're free. So how do you start? You need to have a Google account. That means that you need to have a Gmail account, and then you need to have your website. So you go to google.com/business, start now, put your business name in, and they'll send you a code. I think they'll mail it to you, and then you can continue. It's pretty easy to start one. So I have a poll. Do you have a Google account? Let's see. Okay, let's see. Second one. Oh. Share results. Stop sharing. Okay. I don't know what happened to the second one. You can put it in the chat if you have a Google account or not. Sorry about that. Oh, there you go.
So yeah, I just launched it. I think you just had to pull down the.
It's a little slow. Okay.
Don't worry, you have a lot going on.
Okay. All right. Okay. So while we're doing that, we'll go back to sharing screen. Okay. Just thinking about the time. Okay, great. All right. Search engine optimization, or SEO. I'm sure you heard a lot about that. And what the heck is that? It's really the science and art of putting your website and getting organic results, meaning that they're not, 90% say yes, and 10% said no, that they don't have a Google My Business account. That's awesome. That's great. And for those of you who don't have one, you should consider having one. Oops. Okay, let's close that. So the idea is that people can find your website without paying ads. And then you have to kind of optimize your website to do all kinds of things, so then you can organically grow your website without paying ads. And then you want to be on the first page of Google, right? And how do you do that if you don't have a big budget to pay ads? So in general, right, you need to have your site architecture, content strategy, and the back end of your website that you optimize, right? So I'm just gonna go through like really high level things on the things that you have to do. And I think a lot of these, you really need someone who have experience to do SEO to do that, right? So behind your website, you need to describe all your pages. And you need to have an SML map, which is really a site map on how, on where everything is. So let me back up a little bit. The technical SEO is allowing Google to come into your site and index your site, so they'll know what your pages are. So that's why you need to have a site map to have Google do the indexing. Your website needs to be fast. It needs to load up under 5 seconds, probably 2. You need to have a secure website, HTTPS. And if you have an e-commerce, you definitely need one. It needs to be mobile. So, and then you need to have a good site structure, so then it can, so then Google knows what your site is all about. So that was the first thing. The second thing is having relevant keywords on your site and having quality content. Having the right keywords on your content will allow Google to know what kind of content, what kind of website you are. And having a simple navigation will also help, and having easy to find content. So that's those are all the things that would be helpful. Excuse me. The third thing is having page titles. So using excuse me, using headers like H1, H2 tags, and then describe your pictures, will be helpful. And also including social media links on your website. So, so this way, people, Google will know like what kind of pages they are, and be able to show it. So are there any questions? Okay. So I know that we have a little bit of time, so let's go to email marketing. So if you're not in email marketing, I think there's still a lot of people who are reading emails, right? Email marketing is a great way to connect with your customers without spending a lot of money. So, direct marketing may work, but it's costly. And maybe it works in local communities where if they come to your store, then you can give them the hard copies, right? But it's not very targeted. So email marketing allows you to have, to know like when they open the email, and also it's a lot cheaper. It's in general 3 cents, versus, probably 60, 70 cents for direct marketing. And so when I talk about email marketing, it's not sending email from your Outlook or Gmail. It's using a platform to give you that. So some of the vendors are Constant Contact, MailChimp, Sendinblue. So that's and those things that will give you the tools to do email marketing. So when you do an email, make sure you brand your email, having a nice, attractive template. Make sure they're mobile friendly, and you want to have call to action. So register now, or show if you're a shop, right? Let them click to your shopping cart and so forth. And then you want to have a nice footer with all your social media accounts and the unsubscribe option. Here's one Oyster Creek e-blast, right? Because a lot of people are not coming to the restaurants, so they are selling oysters. And then they have really attractive email with all those nice call to actions to direct people to buy oysters. So I mentioned about, some of the providers. There are a ton of them out there. From, Constant Contact to Sendinblue to Aweber. Make sure that you have a professional email address that tied to your website domain, and create an email template. Don't put too much text where people keep scrolling. Now imagine, people are using a phone to read your email, right? Make it easy, make it short. Show and tell pictures, call to actions, and then build a segment to the email list, right? So then you can send the email to your subscribers who are interested in certain things, right? So imagine if you provide different services, right? So some people will be more interested in one thing versus another. So you don't want to send them information that are not relevant. And then over time, if you get comfortable with it, you can actually send drip campaigns. And what I meant by it is that if, let's say you have an email, you send them to a product page, right? And they click on it, but they didn't buy, right? So then it will log into the back end where you can send them more information about that product. So you kind of nurture that leads. And so, those are a great way to kind of get them to buy down the road. So I'm gonna stop now so we have some Q&A. Okay.
So yeah, I'll start my video. So that was great. Thank you so much. So there's a few questions here, but I'm gonna go back to the beginning real quick and kind of start from some of the other questions I wrote down.
Okay.
Is it advisable to email clients to request reviews, or just ask your clients, for reviews?
Yeah, I think that I would start with asking your customer for testimonial, right? First, right, to gauge like how much they want to do a press release. We've done that a lot where we do press releases, and just making sure that you get the consent of your customer. Another way is, you can do hire or help a a journalist, right? It's you know, people are always looking for content, right? They can do press release.
The next question I had was going back to developing websites. So we have a business here who they said they've been spending a lot of time working on their website, takes a lot of hours, and they've only had 2 online sales since the holidays have ended. Where would you start with trying to attract more people to shop on your online website?
Yeah, I think that putting in the right keywords on your website, so when people are searching, right, they can find you, and post it on social media to kind of let people know. For social media, I would do some ads to make sure that you can get people coming, offering some special promotions. You know, it's after the holidays, it's always, you know, kind of slow. So think about ways that you can get people to come in, you know, if you're a service, you know, do some trials. You know, we were helping a gym owner from doing in-house classes to subscription videos. So we offer like 7 days of free trial, and you know, doing email campaigns to kind of collect the email addresses and then send them information so then they can, you know, be enticed to come back. Does that help?
Um, it was from Liz at Sweet Bay. Well, if she has more questions, I can have her turn on her screen. I'm
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
keep going. So we have another business here in Wakefield that's done a great job during COVID doing some pods and everything, but they are trying to start a retail aspect to their business. So they want to do a new retail concept called Play Casso. She doesn't even know where to begin on online sales. Does she start a new website separate from her current business, from Kid Casso, or can they be the same? And I don't know if you want to jump on and kind of explain. Oh yeah, there we go. She's on right now. She can kind of explain the 2 concepts and see if it makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
So our business, like a lot of us, has evolved greatly over the past 12 months. We kind of hit the ground running, I'd say in April 2020, with starting to do some kit building for our art studio. And they were really well received. We did really small batches. And I'm definitely blown away at our retail concept growing as quickly as it has here in Wakefield. So it definitely pushed me to think about opening up a new business. So I'm opening up Play Casso.
Right.
And
Congrats.
yeah, it's so exciting. Lots of fun stuff. I'm kind of in this like in between of, do I have Play Casso exist on my Kid Casso website as a button that says Play Casso Boutique and you click on it that way? Or should I be starting a whole new website for Play Casso?
Are they different customers?
No, they will be the same customers most likely.
Okay.
But I think too, in some sense, it's opened us up where we were really a small niche. I'd say pre-COVID, a lot of people thought Kid Casso was only for somebody who was really good at art or like you had to love fine arts. And with our pod business, I mean, we have 75 Wakefield families who would have never come to Kid Casso if I didn't open the pod business. So it's amazing to see how the retail aspect is adding into that too. So yes, similar customer, but I think it's opened us up to the Wakefield community where they've realized we're so much more than just a fine art studio.
Yeah, I think that if you have the time to manage 2 websites, it may be better because not only now you get another real estate on the web for people to look for you. I will link, you know, the new website from your old website and talked about that, and then have it linked to your new website. But if you don't have time to, you know, maybe just do one. But I think that as you grow, right, the new business, it may have its other features, other things that you want to do. So you want to kind of have that brand, right? You know, to have that extension. And then you can play around with, you know, how different they are, right? You know, have different branding, but then sort of link to each other.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Would you Can I ask one other question? Would you say the same? I always hear conflicting views on this with Instagram. Do you have different Instagram accounts for all your businesses, or should it be branded under one Instagram account?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it goes back to, do you have time to manage 2 Instagram accounts, right?
Yep.
If you can, I think it's better, because you may have different hashtags. You may have different things. If you don't have enough time, then I would put a link. Link trees is like, you have like all those different highlights on the top. If you
Yep.
don't have time to manage 2 accounts, then you put it over there and just give this own own name. And yeah,
Okay, cool. Thank you.
you're welcome.
So we have another question here. Is SEO a one-time setup or does it require ongoing maintenance?
That's a good question. Yes. So it's one-time setup to kind of optimize your website. So you need to have all those things, right? And then it's ongoing for content. So content, and then the fourth thing I didn't mention is create links. So having, we call it the domain authority. So if people come back, link back to you, like let's say if someone do a review on Yelp, and then they link back to you, that's gonna help. But it's an ongoing thing. Usually it takes like at least 6 months, 6 to 7 months to kind of get into the ranking space. So yeah, it's an ongoing thing. Does that help? You see, Johnson has a.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Johnson, I didn't see that. I was looking at this question. I'm going to ask you to unmute and you can ask your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like you rightly said, my name is Johnson. I want to ask this question in building a website. By what I've jotted down, I understand that Google My Business is a free tool that lets you to manage your how you appear on the web, on search engine, and on global stage. Now, I want to ask: is there any other tool that can assist one to build a website? Because learning to build a website, can you get assistance from online on how to do this, and incorporating all these things that we have learned into it? That's my question.
I'm not sure what the answer is. A tool to view your website. In what way?
Yeah, in designing your website, you want to design your website.
Uh-huh.
Can you have an online assistance that will guide you into building it accurately?
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. I never thought about that, because usually you would ask a designer to help you to design a website. I think that having knowing like what are some of the best practices are for a website, doing webinars, searching for what are some of the things that you should have would be helpful. But I think that whenever you design a website, you really need to think about what are your goals and who are your customers and why do they come to your website. And once they come to your website, what kind of information you want to provide to them. So then it makes it easy for them to find what they're looking for. I mean, I think those are the basic things to think about. And then we talked a lot about some of the best practices on the webinar. Having some of those components like secure website, having, call to actions and all those things, those are important. I hope I answer your question. I don't know of any tools that will assess that.
Yeah, I really get what you have said, which has really helped. But my last question I want to ask is that, you have different slides that you have portrayed on the screen.
Yeah.
Is there any way one can
Yes.
get your
Yes.
slide back?
Yeah. You get the recording, you get the slides. Yes.
Unfortunately, I didn't record. I don't know whether you have it.
Yes, it's recorded. Yeah.
It's recorded. Okay.
Yeah, you're on TV.
Okay. YouTube or
What was that?
We'll send the link after, and it will be YouTube. Yeah, so you'll get an email after this with the YouTube video of this and the PowerPoint.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So we have a few more questions. Actually, a lot more. So I'll try to go through them quickly. And if you need to sign off at 10, feel free. But maybe we'll just keep going until we get people's questions answered. Can you talk a bit more about the XML sitemap and meta description?
Yeah, so description is like what shows on Google when you, let's say you put in the link in and it'll describe, like you'll have like different sections of your website. So those are meta description. It's in the back end. It's describing your page. XML map. It's a a map that it's about your site map. It's about, you know, how what are some of your pages in, and you actually use a program to add that in. Okay.
Yep. Regarding return, what is the best practice for it? I know many people order some stuff with their main purchase to benefit from free shipping and then return them for free. For some vendors like Amazon, these items are shot to garbage or recycle. Although this policy can increase sales for sure, however, it costs the environment damaging. Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
Question.
I hear you. It's a challenge. Yeah.
And where is the best place to put the metadata? In the file info in Photoshop, in the media description on WordPress, or on the page description?
Yeah, so if you use WordPress, you know, I suggest you download the Yoast, Y-O-A-S-T. It's a plugin that you can add your meta description in it. So what you want to do is having the keywords of your page, your title, into the meta description. So if it's like about us, right, you want to say we are a group of blah blah blah, right, and just that's how you describe the page. Okay.
In your experience, what do you feel is the most effective sponsored ads campaign?
What's the most effective sponsored ad campaigns? It depends on your goal, right? So if you want people to come to your website and build visibility, Google Ads is a good way, but it's also expensive. If you have a large social media followers, you know, Facebook, Instagram ads are great. And it's also a lot more reasonable. So I think those are the go-to. You know, if you're a B2B, you know, I would think about LinkedIn or Twitter ads. Okay.
I think this might be our last one, and feel free to raise your hand or jump in, but is Google Local Pack automatic, or do you have to apply or link it to it somehow?
You can't apply for it. So as I mentioned, you need to have at least 5 reviews. You need to have your keywords. You need to update your website frequently. I mean, we weren't on the local pack, you know, and then after we do all these things, then we got into the local pack. So it's definitely feasible to do that. If you have any questions, you know, just feel free to contact me. And you know, I'll be able to answer some of the questions.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if, again, 10:01, I know everyone probably has another Zoom meeting, or, you know, we're all busy lives. Like I mentioned, we will be sending this around in an email with the PowerPoint and the webinar recording, as well as Susa's information, my information as well. Also, to any Wakefield business that was here, I wrote down who I thought was here, but if you could still send me an email acknowledging that you came, that'd be really helpful. But also the deadline to apply for the grant funds is next Thursday. So that includes your one-page marketing canvas, as well as the application, which I will be reaching out to our Wakefield businesses with that information. Please make sure that you're eligible. I'll send the link around for that. And if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or email. So Susu, anything else?
No, I really enjoyed the webinars, and I hope that it's helpful for you. And if you have any questions, you know, let me know. I hope that these tips will help you to increase your business. So thank you, Erin.
Thank you so much, Susu. And everyone, have a great day. And
have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Thanks.
Bye.